Talk to me. WSRadio.com.
Welcome to Big Bet, the sports wagering show from coast to coast and worldwide, highlighting the matchups, betting lines, and totals, and all you need to make the right decision. It's Big Bet, focusing our attention on the winning bet. Live from San Diego, it's Big Bet. And we are back here, second hour, coast to coast, worldwide, WSRadio.com, along with Tommy D inside the studio, Wade Taylor producing and directing our program. We've already heard from Bobby Hutton, Matty B, still in the house here from the Big Easy. And this is Super Bowl 54, ladies and gentlemen, one of the holidays of all holidays. They're expecting, or they sort of have petitioned that tomorrow become a holiday, the day after the Super Bowl. One of the largest viewed sporting events in the history of sports. I think the World Cup might have more, whatever the case might be. But, you know, what's a 2 or 3 million separating factor there? We go back down to the Big Easy to join with our correspondent, Matty B. Matty B, what's on the menu today down there in New Orleans? What kind of food? We talked about food on the first half of the broadcast. What kind of food will be served down there in the Big Easy?
Well, aside from your normal food for Super Bowls, where everyone's going to have the hot wings and they're going to have the chips and salsa and all that fun stuff, you got the stuff you can boil, Felix. You got the crawfish, you got the shrimp, you got the crabs. There's going to be a bunch of crawfish boils going on, people going out that way for the Super Bowl. But, you know, this is a downtrodden city still. You know, this city has been expecting their Saints, who have been oh so close the last few years, and keep losing on the last frickin' play of the game for 3 straight years now. So, you know, there's not going to be a giant Super Bowl celebration. Yeah, you're going to get some people watching it here, and they're not boycotting it like last year where they actually had thousands of people in New Orleans just refusing to watch the game because they were screwed by the NFL against the Rams. This year a little different, obviously. You know, they kind of did it to themselves against the Vikings, didn't play their sharpest game. But for those that are watching, yeah, you're going to definitely get the usual stuff of the hot wings and things like that, but you're also going to get the crawfish boils, the shrimp boils, things of that nature.
Tommy D, what's on your menu, my man?
You know what? Little pizza, wings. More of the traditional stuff. Matty B said chips, salsa. My wife makes a buffalo chicken dip. That's pretty good. Kind of tastes like chicken wings, but you dip it with the chip. That one's pretty good. We do some sausage and broccoli roll, ham and cheese roll, stuff like that. Finger foods. It's all about finger foods and enjoying the time because, you know, even if you're not a sports fan, Felix, people just love watching the commercials, getting around the TV.
Right.
It's just it's an American pastime.
Me on the menu is Thai, Filipino, Latina, all women, baby.
No, we're not asking about your dating life, Felix.
It's like Mambo number 5 over here.
Well, we're gonna be, we're gonna be around some beautiful women today, and so I'm gonna teach them football 101. There's nothing wrong with that. Teaching them what a first down.
You're gonna teach them how to hike it.
He's gonna go for 2.
Right.
You think, Matty B?
That's right. We're going for 2 right away. You know what? We were talking about prop bets. And it wasn't that long ago when there was a prop bet that the first play in the Super Bowl would have been a safety. And remember when they snapped the ball on the first play, I think it was the first play.
Yep, right over Peyton's head.
And Seattle scored on the safety. I think the odds were like 60-1 on that. It was a big, big, big number. However, it wasn't the first safety in a Super Bowl game. The first safety in a Super Bowl game was the Steelers and the Vikings going back to the early 70s when the Steelers led 2-0 at halftime. When the Steelers and the Vikings went to the halftime, the Steelers were ahead 2-0. Can you believe that, Matty B? You weren't even born in 72, were you?
No, I was not. You got me by a decade there. But I was just thinking, Peyton's had some very interesting beginnings to a Super Bowl. The safety, and is in his very first Super Bowl, they kicked off first to the Bears, and it's returned for a touchdown to start the Super Bowl. So he's had some interesting beginnings to his Super Bowl career.
Yeah, without any doubt about that. Didn't he lose? How many Super Bowls did he lose before he won?
No, well, he's never been. He won his first chance at the Super Bowl, his first crack, because they kept losing the Patriots.
Right, exactly.
In the AFC Championship game, or losing to the Steelers or whatever. But no, he got his first one, their first chance against the Bears in Miami, where this year's Super Bowl is played. And then their second time around was with Denver, and they went up against Seattle, and that was the one where, everyone was expecting so much, the greatest offense that we'd ever seen with those Broncos at that point. And they just got decimated, 43-8, something like that. And then a couple years later, his swan song year, where really he didn't do much, the defense did everything. Cam Newton dove away from a fumble as opposed to diving towards the fumble, and they beat the Panthers. So he has 2 out of 3 tries. He's got 2 rings.
All right. Nice going there, Peyton. By the way, we tip our hat. Black and gold never fold. The Steelers, well represented in the Hall of Fame. Coach Bill Cowher gets inducted in Canton this summer. Donnie Shell, the separator, who played as good as any DB in the history of professional football. And yesterday, Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, congratulations. Unbelievable. Matty B also, he was one of the best players, and he recognized on the field. You can't miss the guy all over the place for the Steelers for so long. So congratulations. I did have a quick question for Matty B, and I just lost my train of thought there. Unbelievable.
You're going to ask him.
I had a good question for him that I wanted to ask him his thoughts on, but it's going to come back to me in a second here.
All righty. Your thoughts on who's going to win?
Well, I definitely want to know Matty B's opinion on who's going to win, and then the over/under. Where would you put your money if you had to?
Well, I came out earlier with my podcast this week and said that my bet on this one was Niners win 26-24. So field goal game at the end for them to get the win. Obviously, that means that I think they cover because they are the underdog in this one. And obviously that means that score that I'm picking the under in this one. Now, smart money would be with the over between these two offenses, and I don't ever claim to have smart money in this one. It's just a number that came to my head when I thought about this Super Bowl and their abilities, defensively for the Niners to really eat up some clock offensively with their running game and not give Mahomes that many chances to get his team into the end zone again and again and again like we've seen him do. So I think that's why I have the number so low. I understand plenty of people going with the over and smart money saying go with the over with these two offenses. I'm just thinking that with the Niners rushing attack and it taking some time off the clock and their defense being one of the better ones in football this year, especially now that they're healthy again, I think it's enough to keep this one in the under.
Yeah, I guess real quick, I wanted to ask you, aren't you a Laker fan?
I'm a diehard Laker fan.
I just wanted a quick minute. I thought you were.
Are we going here?
Well, yeah, just for a second. I just want to hear your thoughts as a fan. Not too long, a quick minute here. We have another guest coming on, but I know you're a big-time fan, and I was pretty sure on it, but it's sensitive time right now. So can you just give us your thoughts on the situation?
And stay with us because I want you to hear this guest.
A week ago today, my world ended a lot more than I ever thought it would. Kobe Bryant was my next hero. I grew up with Magic and Isaiah. That's what I grew up with, and those were my heroes. Magic's been my, idol from a young age, 5 years old, and falling in love with basketball. And then they retired, and you need that next, who's your next guy? Who's the guy that you want to follow for the next decade or so? And I was 14 years old, and Kobe was 17, and he's on my Lakers now, and all this hype of the next Jordan. And I said, all right, I'm gonna give this kid a chance. And it was 20 years of that being my guy. And it was so gut-wrenching and so shocking last Sunday to get that news. And, guys, I broke for a while, a few different times where I couldn't contain myself. I was hysterical at times, crying, could not believe that this is happening. The more you think of it and all the different things that we were robbed of, because in the NBA, this isn't football where you got guys dying from CTE and different things at a younger age. In the NBA, our legends are around. Bill Russell is still there giving the MVP at in the championship. You got Magic and Bird and Isaiah and Michael and Oscar and Dr. J. Our legends are there outside of basically Wilt. You know, outside of Wilt, our legends are here. Our greatest of all times are here. And we were robbed of 40 years of seeing Kobe on the sidelines with his kids, Kobe with Magic, Kobe with Michael, Kobe with LeBron, all this stuff that we were going to get on top of what he gave us after basketball with Dear Basketball, writing books. He was so creative, so intelligent, and had so much more to give that we were all completely robbed of. And it's just, I could go forever, and I'm not going to, but my guy is gone, and I am still gutted by it.
I think a lot of folks are. I mean, the outpouring of love. The Staples Center the other night had an advisory out of nobody showing up to the Staples Center without a ticket for the memorial game between the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers to honor Kobe, and close to 1 million people showed up. We go to South Florida on this Sunday, and we are joined with my friend Bobby Friedman, who is pretty close to the situation here with the Los Angeles Lakers. Not only is he a longtime season ticket holder of the Lakers, he happens to be one of the best friends, or his best friend happens to be Jerry West, and he indeed knows Kobe Bryant, and he's been a part of it. Bobby Friedman, are you there?
I'm here, so get me while you can. I'm on my way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're pretty excited about that? What a nice little venue.
It's my 52nd, Felix. I bet this is just a reunion from friends. In fact, I came with Dean Spanos.
That might not be a good word to say here in San Diego because the Charger fans remember him. But anyway, that's where we're broadcasting from. So Dean Spanos, a top of the morning to you as well as Bobby Friedman. I happen to be a Charger fan and a Clipper fan after last night, after watching Kawhi Leonard. But Bobby Friedman, thanks for joining us. You've been a long-time Laker season ticket holder. You go back many, many years to the Jack Kent Cook era. What was your thoughts when you heard about Kobe Bryant?
Well, I knew him not well. I knew him when he was younger. See, Jerry West is my best friend, and Jerry nurtured him. And I really didn't get to know much about him after he matured. I'd say hello, but I really didn't know him personally.
When Jerry
he was an icon. He was a great, one of the greats of all time. Jerry ranked him in his top 20. I think he ranked him 5th, behind LeBron. The greatest, Jordan,
Wilt.
Magic. He rated him 5th, but that's all time.
You and Jerry West, as you mentioned, are best friends. Jerry has been completely devastated. I mean,
distraught. Completely distraught. He can't stop crying.
I know this is a stupid question, but Kobe and Jerry West. Jerry West traded for Kobe Bryant as a high schooler coming out of lower.
He tracked him down. He tracked him down from the first choice to Orlando's pick, and traded Bloody Divac to get him.
Yeah, he traded him to the Charlotte Hornets, and basically
Charlotte had the draft choice.
Right.
He traded Bloody to get the rights to Kobe.
Right. So during the time when Shaq and Kobe were having their little feud, Kobe Bryant sort of made mention that maybe he would leave the Lakers, but when he went to talk to Jerry West was the glue that kept Kobe Bryant in Los Angeles. What kind of relationship has Jerry West shared with you about he and Kobe Bryant?
Kobe was like a son.
But
Kobe was like his son.
Jerry West has a son.
5 of them.
Okay, and so what did he say that was so special about Kobe Bryant?
That he took him when he was 16 years old. He nurtured him.
Kind of amazing, isn't it?
Unbelievable. But you know something, Felix? I think different than most people. I believe when I was born, I was given a number. See, deaths like this support my theory. It just shouldn't have been.
Matty B, for Bobby Friedman, he's at the Super Bowl in South Florida, in Miami, long-time Laker fan, long-time important person.
I go back to the original owners.
That's Jack Kent Cook.
Jack Kent Cook.
Yes, sir. And you have season tickets.
Pardon?
You have season tickets.
52 of them.
Yeah, well, we need 3 of them for our radio show.
I don't blame you.
Matty B, for Bobby Freeman, who knows everything about the Lakers that you would really want to know.
Well, I've seen all of them come and go.
Yeah.
And he was amongst the greatest.
I feel so bad for Jerry. They keep bringing Jerry on these shows, radio, television, all week this past week. I saw him and heard him so many times, and you feel his heartbreak every single time. I get why they do it. This is the logo. This is, in terms of overall basketball, there is no greater than Jerry West. A champion on the court.
There is no greater.
The greatest GM anyone could ever ask for. I mean, what he did with the Lakers in the 80s, what he did with the Lakers in the 90s, 2000s, what he did for Golden State, what he did for the Clippers. I mean, there is no better overall basketball career than Jerry West. And so, yes, like you said, he is the man that traded Vlade Divac.
Before you leave, do you know how he got Kawhi?
No. How?
Okay. Whoever got Paul George was going to get Kawhi Leonard. So he had to trade. He traded 5 first-round draft choices and 3 good players to get Paul George. And he was, in 20 minutes after Paul George signed, Kawhi Leonard signed. So
amazing.
And now those first-round draft choices will be like 32nd picks. But he gave up good players in Alexander. There was 3 good players he gave them. Gallinari was another one. I forget the third one that he gave him. Plus 5 first-round draft choices.
I mean, you can't question it. It's Jerry West. This man does no wrong when it comes to helping your basketball team. And, it's clearly worked so far.
The smartest GM since Red Auerbach.
No argument here. I love that man. I've always loved that man. And
nice talking to you, Felix. You're a top broadcaster in my book.
Hey, let me ask you this. Is Tom Brady going to be a Charger next year?
You'll find it in 2 months.
And what do you like about the game today? If you're a wagering man.
I can't separate them. The only way San Francisco can win is if they control the ball. If they can roll the ball the same way they did control the ball against Green Bay, they got a chance to win because that other kid is really good. So you got to keep the ball out of his hands as much as you can.
Can you do me one favor? You are with Dean Spanos today, is that right?
I just left playing cards with him.
All right.
I'm on my way up to the...
Will you see him today?
No, I won't see him anymore. He's going to fly back. He's going to leave at halftime.
Yeah.
And I'm already going up to the tailgate, to the Fox, the ESPN, to get on their hospitality and their tailgate.
Beautiful. Enjoy your time, and thanks for joining us. And we'll catch up with you. We'll catch up with you when you're back on the West Coast.
Very good.
All right, my friend.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Bobby. Bobby Freeman. Bobby Freeman, as he mentioned, he's no lightweight. When I say that he and Jerry West are best friends, they are best friends.
Yeah, connected. You could hear it, and hearing it from his voice, he's devastated, and the whole thing about nurturing him, bringing him up, and keeping him under his wing the whole time, unbelievable. I did want to ask him before he left, but we didn't get a chance. I want to see who he thought, the Lakers or the Clippers this year, because I think last night Paul George coming back, that team's going to be tough to beat. Paul, George, and Leonard. I think that combo might be better than LeBron, AD. I could be crazy for saying that.
No, I don't think you'd be crazy
wow,
at all.
They look solid. With Paul George getting healthy, it's going to be tough to beat them.
Last night at the Viejas Arena, San Diego State went to 23-0. They rallied from 10 down in the second half to beat Utah State. At halftime, they retired Kawhi Leonard's number. The Lakers played in the afternoon. The Clippers played in the afternoon up in Los Angeles. They boarded a bus and came down, the whole entire team, Tommy D, Matty B, with Doc Rivers, even the owner, Mr. Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers. They all came, and they were in attendance at Viejas Arena to see Kawhi Leonard's number being retired with Coach Steve Fisher, which we had on our radio program last week. Just a great, great time. But the Aztecs were sort of threatened last night. They were down by 10 in the second half, and they came back to win. They go to 23-0. Guy was arguing with me as well. They haven't played anybody. Well, they beat everybody they played, and I want to tell you, don't let that enter into it. They're number 4 ranked in the country. They'll probably, without any question, be a top seed. Going back to last year's AFC Championship game, I really wanted to go back to that and get Matty B on. That final score was 37-31. The Patriots beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and Mike in Newport Beach texted me and corrected me. And that's okay, because I love to be corrected, because we've been pretty spot on all year long. That game happened to be in Arrowhead Stadium last year, not in Foxborough, where the Patriots win 37-31. Does anybody remember the score at halftime of that game? Do you remember the score at halftime of that game, Matty B?
It was lower scoring, right? Wasn't it? Because it wasn't a second half explosion that happened in that game?
Correct.
Wasn't it like 10-7 or something really low like that?
14-0. The Patriots led, Tommy.
14-0.
14-0. And then Kansas City scored 7 points in the third quarter, and the Patriots scored 3. So at the end of 3, it was 17-7. Then the doors opened up, and they scored 38 points. The Chiefs scored 24, and the Patriots scored 14. The Patriots win in overtime, 37-31, before 77,034. All right, the Chiefs are back where they haven't been in 50 years. The last time they were here was in 1969, and the guy that predicted more Super Bowls than any was Hank Stram. Matty B, did Tommy D ask you who you like on this game, or who you heading with, or who you might be putting a couple of shekels on?
I'm going with Niners gang, baby.
Why is that?
Got the running game, got the defense. Defense wins championships. And, yes, Kansas City has the better quarterback. But I think it's going to take a lot more than just Patty Mahomes in this one. And I think as long as Garoppolo doesn't try to do too much, stays within the offense, and the Niners get enough out of the running game that they can keep pounding them with it, I think eventually they're going to wear down the Kansas City's defense. Kansas City's defense, had a great second half of the season, but I still don't think they're a great defense by any stretch of the imagination. And the Niners have a very, very good defense that is healthy, and they have all the pieces they need. They've got Garoppolo's got weapons, obviously Kittle, but you've also got Emmanuel Sanders and Deebo Samuel. So he's got weapons that are going to play a big factor in this game. And I think the Niners just have a better balance for this one. I think they're going to be able to keep that Kansas City offense on the sideline long enough that they're not going to get all the points they need to win this game for Kansas City. So I will go with the Niners getting the one for the other hand and joining the Steelers and the Patriots as the only franchises with 6 Super Bowl championships.
Well, Matty B, if I could tell you something that you might want to hear good news is that your man Bob Hutton is with you. He likes the 49ers also, and we know Bob is a great handicapper that's been following the football all year and pretty solid with his bets. So you might be in the right spot there, Matty B. I'm going with the hype and everybody else, and probably of Mahomes. I'm putting it on his shoulders. Last year had the opportunity to get to the AFC Championship game and losing, just being so close to the Super Bowl as his first season as the main quarterback for the Chiefs. Comes back his second season down 24-0 against the Texans, figure a way to get out, down 10-0 against the Titans, figure it out. I know this 49ers defense is much better, but if you listen to this guy, he is so intelligent. He's such a great person, a good football player. I think he's just an X factor and somebody we haven't seen before. And I think they're going to be all over him, but I think he's going to be able to make just enough plays, getting out of the pocket, And Kelsey and the other guys, they just run so well off the routes. And Andy Reid is going to preach that nonstop. Look for some play action, the running back to get some out of the backfield.
Listen to you,
dude. I'm just saying. I'm going back and forth. The 49ers,
I know what you're
Chiefs.
saying. I'm pretty impressed with it.
I'm nervous. I mean, but I'm all about Mahomes here. Mahomes.
Damn, are you a top-graded analyst this morning, brother? I mean, you are bringing your A game.
Well, Matty B's out. I got to keep up with this guy.
Damn, I'm going to tell you something. I have just been floored with your 30, 45-second analysis. Continue on. I want to take some notes.
No, that's it. I mean, yes, I'm worried about a few things. 49ers defense, Kyle Shanahan and his dad right there with him on his side. Also, X Factor by Andy Reid, too. He's been there many times, as Matty B said earlier in the show. 6th ranked all time, never won the Super Bowl. The players, if you listen to Kelsey, Mahomes, all the players, they want to win it for Andy Reid. They want to win it for Kansas City. And guess what, guys? Kansas City deserves it. Please, come on, Kansas City. Nothing against you 49er fans, but you've won enough Super Bowls. You won the NBA. You have Golden State. You had the San Francisco Giants. Let's give Kansas this one to Kansas City and the Mahomes. Right,
Well,
Matty B?
Yeah, go ahead, Matty.
Well, Tommy, I was thinking about ghosts. And you're talking about this great high-powered offense, this young kid, his second year in the league. And, the Niners went up against a team like this back in 1984, and a young Dan Marino, his second year in the league, set the league on fire, set records no one ever thought could happen, especially in 1984. And, there's a great quote from that Super Bowl. People came to see an offense, and the wrong one showed up because the Niners put a beat down on that Dolphins. But I'm thinking about ghosts here, Tommy and Felix, and with Andy Reid never winning a Super Bowl and Kyle Shanahan being up 28-3 on the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So whose ghost, whose demon is going to get the better of them in this year's edition?
Yeah, good point, Matty B. And you just stuck me with a knife even deeper. That was the only Super Bowl, I think, that the Dolphins went to in my lifetime. I was only 4 years old, but I'm a big Dan Marino fan. And, he's always put on the second list because he never won that Super Bowl, Matty B. So, I think Mahomes is definitely going to win a Super Bowl in his career as long as he can stay healthy. If it's not this year, I expect him to get one down. And Garoppolo, too. I expect both of these guys to get a Super Bowl. It's who's going to get it this year?
Yeah, without any question about that, we're going to find out here before the end of this day who's going to win the Super Bowl. I remember that. Both those quarterbacks are from my hometown of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Joe Montana and Dan Marino. Dan Marino wasn't a rookie that year.
No, second year.
Yeah,
same
second
as
year,
same
right?
As Patty.
Yeah, and the 49ers whipped them pretty well, right?
Was it 38-24, 30, something like that?
I don't remember that, and it's been too long ago. But the one thing that people are saying, and you hear this, you got to get the monkey off the back. That if Kansas City loses, how long will it take until people say, "Well, Andy Reid just can't win the big one"? I mean, that's just been his legacy when he was at Philadelphia, and now he's taken over Kansas City. I mean, as you mentioned, and people forget, Tommy D, Matty B did not, that the Philadelphia Eagles were in the NFC Championship game 3 straight years, and they got knocked off and got denied the Super Bowl. And so then they finally got there with Donovan McNabb, and he came up with the flu that day, and he was throwing up, and T.O. was playing on a broken leg, as Matty eloquently brought to us, and basically that's what it was. Hey, Wade Taylor, inside the studio, you working the phones? No bueno? All right, we were trying to get Troy Polamalu on. He's down at the Super Bowl enjoying his Hall of Fame induction. Steve Atwater also. I don't know how they could deny Alan Faneca, the Jet lineman, former Steeler lineman, who's the best that ever played that position. Alan Faneca was a monster. But Edgerrin James, hey, Matty B, tell me, Edgerrin James a Hall of Famer in your mind?
No, definitely not over Alan Faneca. But, this is a flashy league, and the flashy positions get the hype and get the camera time. Faneca's name doesn't get mentioned unless, he made a mistake really more often than not. That's just the way it is for linemen. But you're absolutely right. Alan Faneca, funny you mentioned the Jets. I completely forgot about the Jets for him. The only team I think about when I think of Alan Faneca is the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he will get in. He absolutely deserves it. Edgerrin James had a nice career, was a good running back, but I'm with Dion a little bit on this one. They're starting to open up the doors a little too much to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's not like baseball. Baseball's tough. I mean, they're not even letting guys in, big time name players, and I know there's some some things around their names, the steroid era, some of the cheating scandals, whatnots. But I mean, the biggest names in baseball. And for one guy not to give Derek Jeter a full ride in,
unanimous,
crazy. So they're pretty strict with the baseball. I feel more than football. But Isaac Bruce, I was excited to see him get in. I thought he deserved to get in.
Yes, without any question. And by the way, congratulations on you, Tommy D. You said that Lamar Jackson early on was moving in the direction of the NFL MVP. I've been against I'm a Steeler fan. I cannot get behind the Baltimore Ravens. I mentioned to the whole world that Tennessee was going to beat Baltimore because they were fraudulent. In Week 5, the Steelers exposed the Baltimore Ravens at Heinz Field and got bailed out because of a phantom roughing the passer call against Lamar Jackson that allowed the drive to continue, and Baltimore scored a field goal to send the game in overtime, which eventually they won in overtime. So I've always said that Baltimore was a fraudulent 13-3 team, but Lamar Jackson, unanimous, and the NFL MVP, and just a tremendous year.
Wait, so you bet on Mike Vrabel, Felix? Because I remember saying in like week 5 or 6 that Mike Vrabel was a good head coach and that he had a good team that he had under him, and you started laughing at me on the air for everyone to hear. You're like, Mike Vrabel's a good head coach? What?
What was their record in Week 5?
Oh, they were terrible. They were terrible.
I think Mariota was still quarterback.
Yeah, and so that's right. And then they had to get Tommy D's brother from Miami.
Oh, another knife. Wow, you guys are just stabbing me. Okay. Marino can't win the Super Bowl.
All right, I want to ask you guys. I
want
to ask you, Brain, something. Okay. First of all, let me say this: that Big Bet, without question, should be on a major radio network syndicated, because the job that Bob Hutton, Matty B, and Tommy D has done under the direction of Wade Taylor, producing and directing this radio program for the entire professional football season this year, 2019-2020. Undoubtedly, I'd put this show up against anything on the radio anywhere. There's no question about it. Somebody needs to go ahead and make a pitch to bring Big Bet, because I think what the job that you guys have done has been miraculous. I have a trivia question for you, okay? And, I'm all about trivia. There's no question about that. All right, you guys have your hands on the buzzer? I'll give it to you both. Name me the last quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy and the Super Bowl.
Oh. Ooh.
It's a good one, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, now don't go to your Google and just think about
No, I'm
this.
not. Definitely just thinking. It definitely wasn't Nick Foles. It wasn't Tom Brady.
This is a great question, by the way.
Yeah. It wasn't Flacco.
No. You got to go way back.
Trying to go back in time. Peyton didn't win the Heisman. That went to Charles Woodson.
Okay.
Man, you're going to have to go. Drew Brees didn't win the Heisman at Purdue.
Correct.
Kurt Warner, definitely not.
Correct.
God. I mean, how far? We're going to have to go back a while. Is that? Are we going back to like the 80s the last time this happened? I don't
maybe before.
Joe didn't win the Heisman.
No.
At Notre Dame.
Steve Young, no.
Steve Young did not at BYU. Troy Aikman did not at UCLA.
Way before.
Or Oklahoma.
You need to go way before.
Before the 80s? Is it in the 80s?
No, it's before the 80s.
Before the 80s.
Oh, geez. That's before we were born.
Okay. Well, then at least you guys going to learn something today, aren't you?
No, Bradshaw didn't have it either.
Right.
It's not the snake.
I'm lucky I know what I did yesterday.
Right? Like, my brain has not worked very well since last Sunday around.
I don't blame you.
Around 11 o'clock.
He went to Stanford.
He went. Did Elway win the Heisman? No.
Nope.
No, but he
No,
said
it wasn't
earlier.
Elway either.
Played for the Raiders.
That's what I think. It's not the snake. It's oh God. Is it the old man?
Nope.
It's not Kenny Stabler?
Nope. It's great. Son, you use this at the party that you're going to today. All right. You ready?
Played for the
Jim Plunkett.
Jim Plunkett.
Stanford.
The last man to win the Heisman and the
last
Super
quarterback.
Bowl.
The last quarterback.
Last quarterback, yeah.
Okay. All right. Want me to give you an easier one?
Hold on. So where he went to Stanford? Where did he play NFL? Is that bad for me to ask?
No, he played for the Raiders.
Okay, all right.
Well, he played for the Patriots at first, did he not?
There's only been two.
Who are they?
There's only been two quarterbacks ever. Plunkett's the last one, and Captain America is the first one.
Who's Captain America?
Roger Staubach.
That's right.
He was Captain America.
That's right, in Navy in 61.
One of the current guys that won the Heisman or Joe Burrow have a chance to do it, guys? What do you think?
Well, Joe
That
Burrow.
was Cincinnati.
Ouch.
Matty B.
Man, I'd rather go to the Miami for
Matty
sure.
B.
At least you're in nice weather.
Matty B pulls no punches here. Who's the last left-handed quarterback to win a Super Bowl?
Is it Steve? Or has there been a lefty since him?
Steve Young.
Matty B.
On fire. Okay. And that's all I have.
If I had to bet, I'd bet on Matty B every time against me at trivia.
Yeah, I would too.
100%. There's no doubt that.
There's no question.
I would even hey, Matty B, here, just don't beat me
My
up too
mind
bad.
is full of useless information and facts.
Yep, I agree.
So, Felix, who do you like in the Super Bowl?
I've been going back and forth. I really, all week long I was on San Francisco's side and then when Bob Hutton came on today and he brought that point up about how San Francisco had a hard time containing Wilson, they're going to have a harder time containing because NFL is all about weapons. So I really don't care who wins because I like both teams. I have the fondness for John Lynch for the job he's done. And I like Patrick Mahomes. I just like everything about him. I think Kansas City wins this game. Okay, I came in thinking about the 49ers, but after listening to Hutton, I like Kansas City, and I'm going to go against Matty B and Hutton. You?
Well, I'm on the Chiefs, too, so we're 50-50 split here. It makes me nervous that both Matty B and Hutton like the 49ers, of course, and this could be maybe a heart play, which you're not supposed to play with your heart either.
I'm not playing. I'm watching.
I got to say, it's a little bit of a heart play for me. I love watching Mahomes and the Chiefs, and it's one of those stories that I would love to see it come home to Kansas City, too.
Yeah, without any doubt about that. Without any doubt that Kansas City, Andy Reid, he lost his son to an overdose. He's been there. He's had heartbreaks with the Eagles. He's had heartbreaks with the Chiefs. And I don't know if the 49ers, if the Chiefs score first, the 49ers will be all hands on deck. They will be needing to really pay attention because I don't think that the 49ers could come from behind by more than 10 points. If they get 2 scores behind, it's going to be very difficult for them. However, I did learn this week that the running back that ran for over 200 yards against Minnesota,
Raheem Mostert.
Yeah. He played for 6 different teams in the NFL?
Yep. Dropped by all of them.
Wow. I mean, how all of a sudden, what did he do? Just like the color of the jersey and he start running, or what was his story?
I mean, sometimes you get on teams like the Jets who don't know how to spell offensive line, let alone put one together. Same thing with the Chicago Bears for a while. And sometimes you just got to be in the right kind of atmosphere, the right space, and have the right people in front of you. And, clearly Raheem Mostert found that in San Francisco these last couple of years. Like I said, this may have came out of nowhere to some people's minds, but go look at the way he finished off last season for San Francisco before getting hurt. And he was putting up big numbers there. And, that's what you get with this three-headed monster attack at the running back position. Coleman is fantastic as a, kind of a mix of a slot receiver as well as a running back. Breida is very good in his own rights as well. And then Mostert's kind of the big body, kind of looking a little bit like ED, a little bit Ed Dickerson there, Eric Dickerson, with the way that he runs, just a big body coming at you, and watch out for those knees, and it hits you in the chin strap. It's just kind of worked out for him, and the Niners have taken complete advantage of it, and that's one of the things that's going to be dangerous with this Kansas City defense. You don't know who to expect. You don't know who you're going to have to stop. And it could very easily be Breida taking over this game, and not Mostert. And you just won't know it until this game plays out and the game plan plays out. But, Felix, I'm with you on the, with Kansas City getting out to a 10, 14-point lead. San Francisco might have to change things up. But, I think this is going to be a huge test for that Kansas City defense. Biggest test they've faced so far in the second half of the season. I asked a question on my podcast I want to ask you guys each. Is this the best team each of these teams has played this year? I think the obvious answer for San Francisco is yes. But is this the best team that Kansas City has faced this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you got to give the 49ers all their credit. There's unbelievable. By the way, this is real news right now. I joked about Tom Brady. The Raiders are interested in signing Tom Brady, and that would be incredible to bring him to Sin City to play with that new stadium and play. Could Tom Brady be a Las Vegas Raider? By the way, this is fresh off the press. The 10 biggest Super Bowl bets that are going into effect today. $1 million on the 49ers money line. That's plus 120. That was on Wednesday. $750,000 on the Chiefs, minus 1.5, minus 110 at the Bellagio. DraftKings Sportsbook in New Jersey took $684,000 on the 49ers, plus 2. $550,000 on the Chiefs, minus 1. $450,000 on over 42.5 points. How did they get minus 450 on that? Okay. So that guy's laying minus 450 to win 100, and he put $500,000 on the number 42.5. That's a big bet, Tommy D.
Oh, big time. But you know what? If you're looking at it from the big picture, you gotta want Mahomes to win. Everybody that's watching this game, this guy is so dynamic. He's young. He's all over. He's gonna be all over the field today. So from an outside perspective, these fans watching that don't know much about the Super Bowl, I think they're gonna be shocked, and we might get more fans if Mahomes and the Chiefs could win, because he's one of those guys that you watch him, you like him, you want to be a fan of him.
Tommy, I'm with you on that, but I honestly, I think the heartstring play is Andy Reid. I mean, is there a better coaching tree in the NFL than Andy Reid's coaching tree? I can't think of one right now.
That doesn't mean anything.
Than what he's done. No, but it does, because it's how great of a coach he is and the class of people that he is with as a head coach, and he doesn't have a Super Bowl to add to his resume yet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's definitely something that's on his mind. He says it's not, and they're just going to get out there and play. But as we all know, it's definitely that's what you want to do as a coach. You're not playing, for second place. You're playing to win the Super Bowl.
All right, my friend in Vegas right now just told me that the betting lines are extremely long. He texted me from the Bellagio, and 56% of it's even 50. I mean, they're betting both teams, but more Chiefs money is coming in Vegas. Okay, they just put $125,000 on Kansas City money line, 68,000 on the Kansas City first half money line. There you go. We didn't talk about the first half money line, but that's maybe the way to play. But the Chiefs have been horrible in the first half.
Yeah, they've been striking out a little bit left and right. Last two games going down 10-0 and 24-0 before that. But I think that, being laser focused here, they're going to have to. They can't do that against this 49ers defense, so they're going to have to figure out a game plan to get points on the board early. If it's a field goal, a touchdown, they need to put up the points. It's going to be a great game overall. Can I see the 49ers winning? Yes. Can I see the Chiefs winning? Yes. Who am I going to pick? The Chiefs. I think it's going to be a great game all around. And honestly, it could come down to quarterback play. Garoppolo, if he can manage the game well and the 49ers D plays lights out, they get the game done. But if Garoppolo throws an interception or two, they could also lose the game. And Mahomes, same thing. If they're all over him, he has a couple interceptions or he has a couple miscues, 49ers jump on it and move ahead. If they're up, 10 points, it's going to be hard for Mahomes to come back against this defense.
Hey, I want to shout out to Brad Everett, the owner of All Say 101 Restaurant in Solana Beach, listening to the broadcast up there with his wife, Julie, a brand new granddaddy. All Say 101 in Solana Beach, just a tremendous, tremendous restaurant that Brad and Julie opened up. So with them listening to the radio program on this Sunday, they have been so much a thread in the fabric of the community and their restaurant up there. It's great. We're going to be up there in Solana Beach. We're going to be at Crust Pizzeria in Solana Beach. My man, Matty O, another Matty that is very, very close. Matty O, we're going to be there watching Super Bowl 54. So if you're in the neighborhood, drop by Crust Pizzeria in Solana Beach, just off of Lomas, Santa Fe. $750,000. $750,000. That's $750,000.
Well, Metris Mac, we had him on the show. He said, how much did he put down?
$3 million.
Yeah.
He bet $1 million in this game.
Some change.
Yeah. Okay. You have $750,000, both you guys. Where are you laying it?
I'm going to go with, if one play, I'm going to go with the over. So, therefore, if I am wrong about the Chiefs, I could still be alive with the over.
All right, so you bet $750,000. Let's make sure we got the over. You're betting it right now, so we're going to have real time. Let me check it. Matty B, what do you think?
Is the line still 1.5?
Let me check it real quick. The line is still 1.5 and 54.
Oh, they dropped it down to 54. It was 54.5.
I liked it even at 55.
I think this game goes to 2.5. I really do. I think that now the late money is going to come in on Vegas before game time. I don't. As I said, it won't be 1 or 2. It'll be a half, a line to it, because they want to make sure that one side wins and that they win their money. They don't want any ties. This game is too close to call, perhaps. Maybe not. 1.5 and 54.
I'm still going with Niners, gang. Put my $750,000 bet on it.
All right, so you got...
I respect that.
Yeah, and I'll take Kansas City. I'll lay the $750,000 minus the 1.5. And if the 49ers win, I'll say, damn, that was my first instinct. Why did you think long? You think wrong. But Hutton changed my mind.
Interesting, because he liked the 49ers.
Yeah.
It was just because he said Russell Wilson.
Yeah, because I think that's the key, that, that first of all, when you have too many weapons, like Patrick Mahomes, and you score a lot, you're going to get more opportunities to score and put a lot of points on the board. Do you see the 49ers, Matty B, putting 35, 40 points on the board in this Super Bowl?
They certainly can. I mean, look what they've done the last 2 weeks against, Minnesota's got a good defense. They are not a bad, that's what carried them this year is their defense and really their running game. Kirk Cousins had a very good year. And showed up in some very big games this year, none bigger, obviously, than getting that monkey others after that playoff win. But they put up a ton of points against both the Vikings and the Packers, two teams that were in the top half of defense this year in football. Kansas City's defense yeah, like I said, they've had a good second half of the season, but I still don't think they're a great defense. So San Francisco's offense absolutely can put up 35-plus points. We've seen it, in the NFC Championship game and the week before in the divisional round. So they certainly can. It's just, this is the Super Bowl, and nerves get to guys. These guys are human. They can say everything they want about it. It's just another game and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you haven't had to go through everything you've had to go through this week before playing a game with a longer halftime, longer breaks, longer commercial breaks, all that stuff that just kind of changes momentum, kills that momentum at times. And it's a different football game. But offensively, yeah, the Niners absolutely can put up 35-plus points.
What about you, Chief Eagle?
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be the over here. I think with Mahomes and the press and Kansas City Chiefs that the 49ers are going to have to keep up with them, and I think it's going to be a great game. I think the 49ers are definitely going to hold them. I would play I like that second half bet. I think more points scored in the second half over the first half. I think that's a nice little prop bet.
I like that one, too.
The game might start off kind of slow, but I think Mahomes, as we saw, the Chiefs take a little bit to get going. They just got to be able to hold the 49ers in check. So they can't go too far down, but it's going to be a good game no matter what. This is one of the most, anticipated Super Bowls that I'm interested to watch. And since I can remember, to be honest with you, you got two great teams, and you talk to people, it's about 50-50.
Well, the betting is indicating that, and you're absolutely right. It has, the only damper on this Super Bowl is the fact that this week has been a very trying week trying to digest the death of Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the 7 others that lost their lives in that helicopter crash. And, even people say that down in South Beach that has entered into their celebrating. It has put a damper on it. Getting back to my commentator, Ken Rose in Royal Oak, Michigan, that's what I like about this radio show, is that when you make mistakes, people call you out on it. Roger Staubach won the Heisman Trophy in 1963. I said 1961. But that was the year the Pitt Panthers were 9-1. The only loss that they had, the Pitt Panthers, with Freddie Mazook, the quarterback, and Paul Martha, the running back. And, boy, the Pitt had a great team that year. They lost one game to Roger Staubach and Navy. Navy, I don't know if they won the national championship, or I think Navy went 9-1 as well. I can't remember that, but I could remember that game. That Pitt had a great team, and the only loss, Johnny Michelosson was the coach, and I was growing up. I was 10 years old and watching Pitt football against Roger Staubach from the Naval Academy. Patrick Mahomes, is he the future of the NFL? Oh, yeah, without any question. Would I be sad to see Patrick Mahomes win the Super Bowl today? No, because I bet him $750,000 minus. They have to win by 2. Could you imagine if this game is like a 1-point game? I mean, and the line stays at 1.5?
There's going to be some bridge jumpers for sure out there. Kind of sketchy, but, this is one of those days. People that don't know anything about the sport, they just go take a whole bunch of money and they put it on a team because they're going to watch the game. And, for Vegas, just a quick point is for the future, I don't know if Vegas is going to be that packed when sports gambling is legal all over the country. It's definitely going to take a little of the glitz and glamour out of Vegas. It's still Vegas, but you know what? Am I going to go fly all the way to Vegas to sit in line for long lines to make bets? Not me.
Well, the California... The law that is written, the sports gaming law, does not favor you and I as far as what we need. The Indian reservations are in complete control of this sports betting law that is going to be on the ballot. There's no mobile, there's no internet. So that means brick and mortar. The racetracks will be included in that, where there'll be sports betting at racetracks. But for you to drive to an Indian casino or any brick and mortar place, I don't want to put the total emphasis on an Indian casino because they do a perfect and nice job. But my point being is that why can't we follow New Jersey, where we could pick up the phone and have a sports betting account. I mean, why is that not included in the bill that will go to the House to sign here? But that's just my opinion. What do you think, Tommy D?
I would love to see it, be more of a stabilized. I don't think every little spot should have gambling. Don't get me wrong. Like when you're in Vegas and you go to, the gas station and there's slot machines. I don't want anything like that. But if they could regulate it, I think it should be open if you're paying the taxes, just like marijuana here in California. You pay the taxes, you could play, and that's going to bring a lot more money into the state also. I mean, this business is huge. Barstool Sports, Action Network, FanDuel, all these companies are enormous. When you start seeing ESPN put one or two gambling shows on now, and now they show the lines when they talk about the games. They never did that in the past.
No, they didn't. And when I didn't interview him, but I was with Kenny Mayne at Del Mar. And Kenny Mayne and I got involved in a conversation, and he said, they used to prevent me from talking about any gambling on SportsCenter. You couldn't talk about the lines. You couldn't talk about any gambling. Now they're encouraging me to talk about the lines because they have the Daily Wager and they have other gambling shows, which is somewhat like ours. And to tell you the truth, I want to make a point on something that you said, but I lost my thought. But nevertheless, it will affect Las Vegas, and there are 15 states now that legalize sports gambling, sports wagering. And, California is, picking up the rear, and instead of being the trendsetter and a leader, they're going to be closers on this. But nevertheless, it needs to be signed. It needs to be mobile. I agree. I think Jeff Nahill, who tweeted something out that he was, they're stopping you outside. They need to get a number of signatures in order to get it on the ballot here in California. So they need a number of signatures. That's it. We have run out of time. Wade Taylor, just a great job. Big bet, 2-hour Super Bowl. All right, you're going the over. Matty B's taking San Francisco plus 1.5. I am saying the Kansas City Chiefs minus 1 or minus 1.5. And Hutton's in with his 49ers as well. Big bet right here. Adios.
Have you tried DRF Formulator PPs at DRF.com? Take your handicapping to the next level with premium features not found in DRF Classic PPs, including one-click access to complete race charts, full-screen video replays with both standard and head-on views, add your notes for a card, horse, or trip, and access from any device. View Timeform US pace figures, get customized printing options, and so much more. Try DRF Formulator PPs today at DRF.com/PPs.